Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure we welcome our special guest, the legendary rock and roller Chubby Checker. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Good to be talking with you.
It's a great pleasure. So tell everyone out there, people know your songs, but who is the real Chubby Checker?
You don't want to know him. He's a very quiet guy.
Really?
He's more like Clark Kent. Nobody cares about him. He's very quiet, Chubby just, the other guy he's always promoting Chubby Checker. The other guy is always promoting Chubby and everything Chubby does, and it's like I'm a person within a person. I promote Chubby Checker, and the quiet guy doesn't do very much. He's very laid back. He's a whole different kind of person, and very quiet, and just very normal. In fact, and try to keep out of the way, try to keep out of the lights, and go to quiet places to be entertained. Nothing exciting, because the life of Chubby Checker is always in the spotlight. So the other person tries not to be in the spotlight.
Interesting. Where do you come from originally? What was life like growing up?
Spring Gully, South Carolina, and it's Williamsburg County and Georgetown County. From Williamsburg, from Spring Gully, South Carolina, and Andrews, South Carolina. This is my home. And when you come through Andrews, South Carolina, on Highway 521, from every section of town, they will say, "Welcome to Andrews, birthplace or the home of Chubby Checker."
Wow, very cool.
I have to behave myself because I always tell the people in Andrews and Spring Gully that please forgive me, because every time you come through town, my name is always there, so it's a burden for them. So please forgive me. I'm going to behave myself and be a good boy so that you won't be ashamed of me.
I was reading a really interesting story about you, and there's lots of interesting stuff also. I want to direct all the listeners to chubbychecker.com. There's a real interesting story about you and how you got your name.
When I was a kid, I worked in a produce market for Tony Anastasi. And Tony Anastasi gave me the name Chubby. I later discovered that he gave me his son's name, which I considered a great honor. And a few years later, I was working in the poultry market for Henry Colt. And he took me to the record company. I was doing a project for Dick Clark. The lady there, this lady said, "That's Chubby, Chubby like fats." And then she added Checker like domino. And Chubby became Chubby Checker. And the lady's name was Mrs. Dick Clark.
So tell me, how did you get interested in music?
My mom took me to concert when we were living in Georgetown County in Georgetown, South Carolina. And I was looking at Ernest Tubb, the country singer. And then she later took me to a show in Andrews, South Carolina, where I saw a singer named Sugar Child Robinson. And after I saw those two people, I decided I'd have to be in show business. I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Wow. Can you remember favorite artists and favorite records growing up?
I remember people from the 40s like Hank Williams and Grandpa Jones. Those people were around when I was a kid, because all I ever heard was country music, because I was born before rock and roll. And people like Hank Williams, people like that. And then when I gained consciousness about 1951, I must have been about 10 years old, then I started exploring rock and roll, because people like Billy Ward and the Dominoes and people like that, and Perry Como and Nilsson Burl, and then came along people like Sammy Davis Jr. and Harry Belafonte and Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, people like that. But my favorite of all times was Fats Domino, Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Jerry Lee Lewis. These are the people that really mean something in the rock and roll business. We are part of all these people.
I have to agree with you there on the Fat Man. He was one of my favorite people to interview. Just an amazing artist.
These 5 people, to me, a statue should be carved of them in some mountain somewhere, and call it the Rock and Roll Mountain of Rushmore. Fats Domino, Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Jerry Lee Lewis. These are the guys that really made rock and roll come alive with great fire.
Before the Twist, you had a song called The Class. Tell us about that song.
I did impressions of Fats Domino and Elvis Presley and Cozy Cole and the Chipmunks and things like that. And I still do a good Elvis impression, and Ricky Nelson and Fabian and people like that. And it was a novelty record. It wasn't my favorite. It was my first hit, but it wasn't my favorite record because I thought that at that time I was much cooler than the Class.
Well, tell us about the first time you heard your own music on the radio. What did that feel like?
I really never listened to my music, and I very rarely look at any films of me on TV or videos. I never really watched that. And the reason why I don't listen to myself is because I might hear something that I don't like, and I might change it. And that might be the reason why people are listening to me. And when I watch myself on TV and I see something and I change it, that might be the reason why they like me. So I never really watch myself, and I don't listen to my records. But I do know that when they're not played, I have a thing called media base. I find out where all my music is being played and how many times it's being played. And the great heartbreak about my career is that they don't really play my music like they play the other great people in the music industry. I would like to hear Chubby's music even more. My music is responsible for the way we dance on the dance floor. Because after we did the Class and I did the Twist, the world changed forever. It's almost as if we're talking on the telephone right now. When the telephone came to the public, it became a permanent fixture in the world. When Edison gave us the light bulb, it became a permanent fixture in the world. When Chubby Checker did the Twist, the pony, the fly, the shake, the hucklebuck, dancing on the floor, the way we dance became a permanent fixture on the dance floor for everybody's music. And all I want out of it all is for everyone to play my music, like they play Elton John, like they play Elvis, like they play all the rest of the guys out there, Bob Seger. I want to hear my music the way they play their music. And I deserve to have it because in September the 11th, 2008, the Twist was named the #1 song on the planet. I want to hear the #1 song on the planet on the radio. I want to hear every radio station play the #1 song on the planet.
Well, tell us a little bit about that song. It is amazing, you know. I can't believe that it wouldn't be more widespread, but everybody knows the Twist. And
everybody knows the Twist, but I want the radio stations to play what's responsible for the way we dance on the dance floor 24/7 since Chubby Checker was an American Bandstand around 1959, and the world changed forever. I mean, the way we do the boogie, the way we dance to Lady Gaga, the way kids dance that are 9 or 10 years old, that's Chubby Checker. You turn on the light in your house, it's Thomas Edison. When you get on the phone, it's Graham Bell. When you get on the dance floor, that's Chubby Checker. The music has a beat, and you can dance to it like they used to say. That's Chubby Checker.
Well, tell us about that song, The Twist.
We're celebrating 50 years of dancing by ourselves on the dance floor. Billy Idol said it best. He says, that song, Dancing by Myself, and I'll be dancing by myself. That's what we've been doing. When Chubby Checker did the Twist, we've been dancing by ourselves on the dance floor in front of someone, exploiting their sexuality which is the most exciting thing on the planet. That's why we're still doing it.
Yeah, I heard you say that on the television. You mentioned that. You said that we're exploiting one another's sexuality. What exactly do you mean by that?
It means that I'm actually standing in front of that woman, and she's standing in front of me, and we're fully dressed, and we're doing it. What are we doing? We're doing it. I'm looking at that girl, and I'm saying, watch me, check my moves. And she's saying, watch me, check my moves. And I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me. My goodness, you can't get any closer to a striptease than that.
Yeah.
And that's why the way we dance on the dance floor before Chubby Checker wasn't here. In fact, aerobic exercise did not emerge until someone says, hey, the twist is great exercise. Let's get some music and exercise to music. Before Chubby Checker, that wasn't even here.
It's amazing. Well, when you look back at all the songs that you recorded, is there one to you personally? You mentioned you didn't listen to your own records, but is there one to you that is a favorite?
The Twist is a great song. The Twist is my favorite song. And the reason for that is because, it changed the world. When Walt Disney brought Mickey Mouse to our attention, animated cartoons was established and invented right there. And everyone that does animated cartoons. Now, when you go to Disney World or Disneyland, you see Mickey Mouse. But what about Snow White and the rest of the characters that he has? Well, my Mickey Mouse is the Twist. And then my Snow White is the pony, and my Goofy is the fly, and another one is the shake, and another one's the Hucklebuck. Those are my characters. But they all represent, like Walt Disney's characters all represent animated cartoons, because before he came along, it wasn't here. And all my dances represent the way we dance on the dance floor. We call it the dancing keyboards to the way we do the boogie. And it's been going on 24/7 since Chubby Checker. That in 2 minutes and 42 seconds, the world changed. The length of the twist is 2 minutes and 42 seconds, and 2 minutes and 42 seconds changed the dance floor forever, and it's still going on as we speak. The twist and the way we dance to the beat is the biggest event in the music industry the day that it happened, and it still is the biggest event in the music industry. I just want to catch up with myself, and I'm hoping that all the radio stations in the world will play Chubby Checker's music. When I'm dead, I'm not going to be able to hear it. I want to hear it while I'm alive and well.
It was not too long ago, I was doing an interview with Clarence Frogman Henry in New Orleans, and he was talking about you, and he said that you were one of the people that he opened for, that he was the most proud and the most excited to sing along with. So I wanted to ask you, who have you sang along with or opened for or had open for you that you were especially excited about?
It was way back in the day. There was a show in Philadelphia, and I was still in high school, and I was the MC. The first tour I went on, I was the MC, and I opened for The Crest. I opened for Paul Williams and the Big Band. I opened for Clyde McFadder, and I opened for Bo Diddley. The show was called Hot Five, and I was on that show. After that, basically, most of the time, I'm on the road by myself all the time. I love playing with Chuck Berry. I love playing with Matt Stamino, Little Richard, and Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, I've played with all these people. I was in the company of Elvis once in my career. I met Paul McCartney twice, and I mean, that's about it. I mean, other than that, it's the music and Chubby and the audience. That's what we've been doing, since 1959. I graduated in 1960. I was touring before I even graduated high school. Go to iTunes and Amazon.com and look for Knock Down the Walls. Look for All the Best. Look for that. Look for Limbo Remix. Look for the Texas Twist. These are things that I've done over the last 10 years, and you need to listen to those because the music is very exciting. Knock Down the Walls is a very exciting song, and Texas Twist is a country album, and it's all country music on it, and it's something that you need to get into. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
And go to thelastTwist.com. You know, we have candy bars and hot dogs and steak and all kinds of junk on there, and I'm sure it'd be very interesting.
I've got two final questions.
Uh-huh.
When somebody goes to hear you play, because I want all the listeners out there, again, check out chubbychecker.com. He's got shows everywhere. What do you hope that they get out of the experience of coming to a Chubby Checker show or listening to one of the records?
They are the centerpiece of the performance. I am just a good excuse for the party. It's all about them. It's not about me. I'm glad they're coming to see me, but I'm also coming to see them, and I'm going to give them something. I'm going to personally get involved with them. That's what I do. You know, the show is about them, and you have to see it in order to know it. But the thing is, most shows you go to, you sit, you clap, and you're an observer, and you go home. You sit down, you clap, you observe, and you go home.
Right.
And that's all you get. With Chubby Checker, you get more. You get other things. So when I come to town, come to see me so you can see what the other thing is all about. What's the next question?
The last question for the legendary Chubby Checker. This broadcast goes out all over the world. What would you like to say to all the people out there that are listening?
Whenever you go on the dance floor, I'm there. In fact, out of all the dances that you do, when you go on the dance floor more than anyone else, you might be dancing to the Beatles. But the dance that you do to the Beatles is Chubby Checker. You might be dancing to Lady Gaga, but Chubby's there. You might be in your office on the telephone, but Graham Bell's there. You might be in your house with the lights on, but Edison is there. Everybody out there, have a good time, and most of all, is my last message to you, behave.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Chubby Checker.